Alright. So I see Alicia, Chase, Muhammad. Okay, so as a reminder, first and second period, I won't be there in the morning. So if you're watching this, great. If you're not, hey, that's fine too. I'll be there in the afternoon after I get back from the meeting. Alright, so your test boils down to really these two things. So your test will be labeled 7A and 7B. In my opinion, this is the easier test, 7A. So if you're wondering which one's going to be hard to remember, I think you'll struggle more with this one. I don't think this is a super hard test for you guys. I think I'd put it in the medium level. Alright, but I'll just get into it and we'll go from there. Is that Omama? I'm assuming O-M-A-V? And I don't know who Bet Koki is. Okay, so first one. This one is really all about being 7A is about putting everything where it needs to be. So if I was doing this, right, and I was looking at it, I can see that if I ask you, for instance, who the state legislative is, well, if you look at your chart that you should have in your notes, you know it's the General Assembly. If you do this, if I ask you, for instance, what are the two houses that make up the General Assembly? Virginia Senate, House of Delegates. And then, you know, I might ask you, what type of legislature do we have? Well, just like at national level, it's bicameral. At the state level, it's bicameral. Two houses, two houses. Those are all test questions. I might ask you, for instance, you know, the state executive is governor. Who are the two people that help him carry out his job? You know, the two of the higher profile people that help him carry out his job: Lieutenant Governor, Attorney General. Lieutenant Governor is the state equivalent of the Vice President. So the President, Governor, Vice President, Lieutenant Governor. That sounds like an analogy question that could appear on the test. The President has the Vice President is equal to the what at the state level? They both have a cabinet. They both enforce the laws. These guys all make the laws. They make national laws. They make state laws. All right. So going back to this. Oh, hey Otto. Sorry. All right, and hey Jay. So some simple questions. I'm going to ask you essentially, what document tells Virginia's government what it can and can't do? I'm looking for Virginia Constitution. I'm going to ask you, this is really simple, how do we split up government power at the state level? Same way we do it at the national level. We have a legislative, executive, and judicial branch. Pretty straightforward. I already went over the houses on the chart thing. I really do think if you study that chart, it makes it easier for you. Oh, one other little thing. They do not do annually. You know it says they meet annually for fixed number of days. That is correct. They meet annually, just like national does. What kind of budget do they make? Do you guys remember? Do you remember what kind of budget they make? And Alicia, no, I will not be doing Kahoot tonight. What was it? It wasn't annual. Hey, 10-bit. So the governor will propose this type of budget. I think you guys are getting distracted saying hi to everybody. Close enough, Chase. It's biennial. It's going to be B-I-E and then the rest of it, okay? So not biannual, but close enough. So it's, so instead of every year, it's once every 2 years for the budget. And it's the same thing. The president would propose it at the national level. The governor proposes it here. Congress would approve it at the national level. At this level, the General Assembly approves it. Again, you see they're bicameral. Governor serves for a 4-year term. Remember, it's only one for them. He's going to appoint cabinet members, just like the president would. But he's appointing it to his state cabinet. So I told you already. The only thing I already went over Lieutenant Governor and Attorney General. The only thing when it comes to courts is if you see the word courts, what branch is it? Judicial. That's really all you gotta know for this one. Trust me, there will be a big old judicial unit where you'll have to know all the other courts and the orders and all that stuff. There's no sense in quizzing you on that now. I might also ask you what the highest court is at either level or something like that. Supreme Court, that's the same, so that's why, that one's an easy one. It should be a gimme. That's really all there is to the first test. Knowing their basic job, just knowing where each one is, how to describe them. So this is your first test right there. Okay. So yeah, so there you go. 7B is the one that I said that's like more of a middle one. It's where it's actually going over the concept of federalism, and that's where some of you guys tend to struggle, is when we get into concept instead of saying like, oh, I can point to this on a piece of paper. Whereas this one, you kind of got to be able to explain it. So the concept of federalism, definitely going to ask you to tell me, that as an answer is the division of power between the states and the national government. Just think of that Venn diagram that we did in class, where you had to, we had a state on one side, national on the other side, or federal. Remember, those are interchangeable. And then in the middle, we had concurrent, which, as you can see down here, we're going to get to this little chart. The big thing I would say is really, if you can understand the word reserved, it means to the states. Does anyone remember what amendment that is? Saying that basically national government, if it's not given to national government, is reserved to the states. What's that amendment? What number? Anybody got a number? 83 is way off. 10 is correct. That's the 10th Amendment. So in the system of government, this would be like on your study guide, the 5 things right here, okay, on that side of your study guide. You got to know basically that the national government is supreme. Federal and national might be interchangeable, but it's federal foreign government, which national government is supreme. That means if there's ever an argument between national and state, national is going to win because they're national. It's just how it is. We already went over powers not given to the national government, reserved for the states. There are denied powers. Denied just means like, you don't get it. So deny means essentially, you can see some examples of powers denied to the states because only federal can use them down here. But there are federal denied powers, as we've said, like nobody can tell you have to be a religion. That would violate freedom of religion and so on. And then what do they actually worry about? Like, what are their main jobs? So for instance, primary responsibility here would be, nationals worry about foreign policy, commerce, common defense, big picture things. Some other things that aren't there, and you can see a whole list here. Let's just go through them. Conduct foreign affairs, federal courts, armies, coin money. It's a fancy way of saying printing money. So, it's just a different way of saying it. So they are the ones in charge of making our dollar bills. Regulate interstate commerce. That means trading amongst states, international trade. National taxes, borrow money, all that kind of stuff. So there's another list. There's other things that's not even listed here, but you get a general gist. Things that affect more than just one state are going to be a federal issue. So like immigration is going to affect more than one state, so the policy we have towards immigration. We talked about war, treaties. You don't hear about Virginia making a treaty with France. It would be United States making a treaty with France. So we're talking national, again, things affecting the whole country. State powers. All right, so here we go with public health, safety, and welfare. Some examples of that: schools. Remember, local governments get their power from states. I use the word derived in our notes. Derived meaning taken from. Education, traffic laws. Again, another. You see taxes again. That's local. Different type of taxes. Marriage, your driver's license. We've gone over a couple of these already. So then concurrent powers are things they share. So you can see again down here, taxes. They both have a power tax. We talked about roads in class. So I know road, and I'm not going to get into the details. So like if you were to tell your parents this, they might disagree and they wouldn't be 100% wrong. But for just giving you that image, interstate highway. It was introduced in a national law by Dwight D. Eisenhower. And the roads crisscrossed over multiple states. So it's more than just one state being affected. So think of that as your national. And then with state, you have your Route 1. You know, Route 1 goes through Prince William up to Fairfax, down to Stafford. It's affecting multiple counties. It's a state road. And then you have something like Mohican, which is where our school is, and only the locals use it. So you have our 3 different levels of government. That's kind of how this all is. You know, they all will do similar things. Those are all technically roads, but different people are using them, and therefore different governments. You know, these governments are supposed to be utilized best to their abilities by focusing on those aspects. It wouldn't do the federal government to do anything like if they had to worry about Mohican Drive, like the U.S. government. Mohican Drive would be in disrepair because barely anybody uses it. They're not going to see it as worth, checking on. That's why we have the different levels of government to check on it. What I want you guys to do really quick is look at this true and false. Go ahead and take your best shot. So 1 through 10, just simple true or false. And if it is false, well, let's do this. Let's do 1 through 5 really quick. If it's false, make it correct. So 1 through 5, go ahead and try that really quick. And then I'll go over those 5 and then I'll do the other 5. I think Chase got them all. Yeah, Chase got them all. All right, so number 1. Name of the state legislative branch's General Assembly. Correct. Name of the state executive branch leader is the president. What would that be? It's not the president. What would that be? And Jake got it. So that would be the governor. Number 3, state government laws are above national government laws. That's just not true. That's not how federalism works. National is above state. Number 4 is true. State executive branch has a cabinet. And number 5 is true. The state legislative branch makes laws for Virginia. Very good. All right, try 6 through 10 really quick. And look at Chase go. He's typing quick today. Let's see if he's right. Oh, so close, Chase. So close. 1 is wrong. All right, let's start going through it. Number 6 is false. So this is one where you guys aren't reading carefully. The General Assembly consists of the House of Delegates, and it would be the Virginia Senate. The U.S. Senate would be national. So that one's false. Number 7, the General Assembly is bicameral. Correct, because there's 2 houses. The highest court in Virginia is the Virginia Supreme Court. They declare state laws unconstitutional. That is true. Number 9, the Virginia governor appoints state officials to state government positions. That's true. Just like the president would appoint people to federal positions. Number 10, though, is false because they actually do approve governor appointments. Just like checks and balances at the national level, that's the same check and balances that we have at the state level. Yes, I think he did get a head start on it too, Otto. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm gonna leave you with one last thing here. What was I gonna type? Oh. No, what was it? Forgot the name of it for a second. In case you were wondering, this is what you have to learn for every grade level. So if you ever want a weird curriculum framework, there it goes. So I figured just so you guys can get an idea, there's everything we got to teach you all year. This is where we're at, by the way. We're about halfway, in case you can't tell from over there. So that's the first test. That's the one I told you I think is easier. So I can't put anything on the test that's not up here. Okay, we already talked about Virginia Constitution. We talked about how there's different branches. We talked about bicameral. We talked about, where that stuff is. We talked about executive, lieutenant governor, and attorney general. We mentioned the courts. There it is, guys. Pretty straightforward and simple. We talked about reserve powers. One thing it doesn't mention here that I'm probably still going to ask you about, if you see the words expressed or enumerated or implied, what level of government am I referring to? I'm not doing quiz, Alicia, not tonight. So if you see the words enumerated, expressed, implied, what level of government are we talking about? National, very good. So again, Constitution is the one that establishes this idea of federalism, like we watched in the video today. National government's power has grown a little bit. I don't think I really asked you about that or even about the tension, even though there is, tension there. So yeah, I mean, that's really all there is to it. Just to give you the quick rundown of it all. You guys got any questions really quick for me before I go? Make it a little bit quicker tonight. Be done in 20 minutes. Alright guys, well, you have a good night. Go ahead and get some sleep, study, do all that fun stuff. I will see you guys, well, I'll see 5th and 6th period tomorrow. I won't see 1st and 2nd. When you finish, if you're in 1st and 2nd period, all I want you guys to do is work on your glossaries. Okay? So that way you can get some time to work on that. But y'all have a good night.